Confused and conflicted, she knew that wealth would solve many of her problems, but she also knew that the apothecary was right. She should think carefully about what she wanted. Once upon a time, in the ancient days in the village of Omomako, there lived a woman named Lydia. Lydia was a hardworking and kind woman who had always dreamed of having a child of her own. But despite her best efforts, Lydia could not conceive. She and her husband tried everything they could to have a baby. Nothing worked out. One day, while Lydia was walking in the fields, she noticed a strange plant growing in the corner of her field. The plant had beautiful red flowers, and Lydia had never seen anything like it before. She decided to take a closer look at the plant. As Lydia approached the plant, she noticed something even more strange. The plant was covered in golden coins. Lydia couldn't believe her eyes. She reached out to touch the coins. They were solid and real. She looked around, but there was no one else in sight. It was as if the plant had sprung up from nowhere. Lydia gathered up as many coins as she could carry and hurried home to tell her husband the news. When her husband saw the coins, he was just as amazed as Lydia has been. The couple were ecstatic, and they had no idea what to do with all the money. The next day, Lydia's husband suggested that they had plant more of the mysterious plants in their fields. So the couple spent the day planting seeds from the original plant. But to their dismay, the new plant did not sprout out any coin. Lydia's husband was disappointed, but Lydia wasn't ready to give up. She had a feeling that the coin were somehow connected to the plant's flowers. So the following day, Lydia gathered all the flowers from the original plant and hung them to dry in the sun. After a few days, the flowers had shriveled up and were covered in a fine powder. Lydia took the dried flowers to the local apothecary, who was a wise and respected man in the village. The apothecary examined the powder and told Lydia that it was a potent magical substance. He explained that if someone was to consume it, even the smallest amount of the powder, they would be blessed with an abundance of wealth. Lydia's heart raced as she listened to the apothecary's words. But when she asked him how she could use the powder, the apothecary refused to answer. Instead, he told her that she would think carefully about what she wanted and why she wanted it. Lydia went home, confused and conflicted. She knew that wealth would solve many of her problems, but she also knew that the apothecary was right. She should think carefully about what she wanted. For days, Lydia turned the apothecary's words over in her mind. She thought about the things she could do with the wealth the powder could bring her, but she also thought about the things she truly wanted in life, and the things that money couldn't buy. Eventually, Lydia came to a decision. She went back to the apothecary and told him that she wanted to use the powder to make a wish. The apothecary listened to Lydia's request, and then he asked her a question. Do you want these blessings for yourself or for someone else? Lydia hesitated for a moment, and then she said, I want this blessing for my husband and I, but most of all, I want it for my future child as well. The apothecary smiled and he said, then you must use the powder to make a potion. The potion must be prepared with a great care and with pure of intentions, the apothecary said. First, you must gather water from a spring that has never been tainted by human's hand. Then, you must gather herbs and flowers that have been grown in the sun and untouched by frost. Finally, you must gather the dust of a newborn star. Lydia listened carefully as the apothecary told her how to prepare the potion. She knew that the ingredients would be difficult to find, but she was determined to do whatever it took to make the potion. Lydia set out on her quest. She traveled far and wide for the pure spring water, the perfect herbs and flowers, and the dust of a newborn star. It took her months to gather all the ingredients, but she never gave up. When she finally had everything she needed, she returned to the apothecary's shop. He helped her prepare the potion, and when it was ready, he gave her a small vial of the liquid. He warned her to use it only when she was absolutely certain of what she wanted. Then he sent her on her way. As Lydia walked home, she thought about what the apothecary had said. She knew that she wanted the potion to help her and her husband, but she also wanted to make sure that her child would have the best life possible. When she arrived home, she shared the potion with her husband. They both drank it and they felt a warm spread through their bodies. The next morning, Lydia woke up just to find out she was pregnant. She was filled with joy and she knew that the potion had worked. She waited 9 long months and then she gave birth to a healthy baby boy. As the baby boy grew, he was as bright and beautiful as the stars. His parents named him Chike, which means star in the language. Chike was always curious and adventurous, and he loved to explore the world around him. One day, when Chike was 5 years old, he was playing in the woods near his home. He came across a sparkling spring and he decided to drink from it. As soon as he took it, he felt a tingling sensation through his body. He felt as if he could see the world in a new way. Suddenly, Chike felt a strong pull, and he found himself standing in front of a great tree. The tree was tall and majestic, and it glowed with a warm light. The leaves rustled in the wind, and the branches reached out to Chike as if they were beckoning him. He reached out and touched the tree, and it felt like a jolt of electricity ran through his body. Suddenly, Chike could hear the tree speaking to him. It told him that it was a magical tree and that it had been waiting for someone to come and find it. The tree told Chike that it had been planted by a great wizard and that it had been waiting for someone special to come and claim its magic. The tree said it could grant Chike any wish he desires. All he had to do was ask. Chike thought for a moment and then he asked the tree for the gift of wisdom. The tree's branches shredded and a single leaf fell to the ground. Chike picked up the leaf and felt a shrug of knowledge and understanding rush through his body. From that day forward, Chike's mind was filled with knowledge and insight. He understood the world in a way that no one else could. He became known as the wisest person in the land, and people from far and wide would come to him for advice. She began to wonder if she had made the right wish after all. One day, a young man came to Chike seeking for his advice. He told him that he had been given a great gift, but it had also caused him great pains. Chike listened carefully to his story, and he recognized himself in his tale. She told him that sometimes the greatest gifts come at the greatest burdens. She asked him if he could give up his gifts if he could. The young man thought for a moment, and then he said yes. Chike looked at him with compassion and understanding. She told him that sometimes letting go of something is the only way to find true happiness. Chike had always been close to his parents, but he never told his mother and father that he has the power to vomit coins from his mouth. That was how Chike became rich. Chike was afraid that if he should tell his parents, they would think he's crazy, but they would try to take his powers away from him. As the years went by, Chike became more and more isolated from his family and friends. He spent all his time alone in his cottage, surrounded by piles of gold and jewelries. His parents grew worried about him, but they could not understand what was happening to their son. One night, Chike had a strange dream. He was standing in a field of flowers, and then he heard a voice calling his name. He turned around, and there stood the magical tree. It told him that he had one more gift to give him, but it would come at a great cost. Chike was frightened, but he was also curious. He asked the tree what the gift was, and it told him that it could give him back the things he has lost, his joy and wonder, but in return, he would have to give up all his wealth. Chike was torn. On one hand, he wanted to be happy again, but on the other hand, He had grown accustomed to his wealth and comfortable life. After much thought, he made his decisions and told the three that would give up his wealth if it meant that he would feel happy again. In an instant, his riches disappeared and he was left standing in a field of flowers. But to his surprise, he felt lighter and freer than he had in many years. As Chike stood there, he noticed something else has changed. The flowers in the field were no longer ordinary flowers, they were magical. They were filled with the same wonder and joy that Chike had felt as a child. He picked one of the flowers and brought it to his nose. As he inhaled its sweet scent, she felt a rush of happiness and excitement. For the first time in years, Chike felt thoroughly alive. He ran through the field, laughing and dancing with the flowers, felt like a child again, and when he knew that he had made the right choice. When Chike returned home, he told his parents about what happened. He was nervous, but he could not keep it as a secret. When he walked into the house, he found his parents sitting at the table. They looked worried and Chike knew that they were wondering where he had been. He took a little deep breath and began to tell them about his visit to the magical three. At first, they were skeptical, but as Chike told them about his experiences, they began to believe him. As Chike told that story, he saw something change in his parents' eyes. They looked at him with pride and admiration, and they realized that he had grown into a brave and wise boy. They were so happy to see their son happy again, and they were grateful that he had made the right choices to give up his wealth for something more valuable. They hugged him tight and told him how proud they were of him. And from that day onwards, Chike's life was filled with joy, wonder, and love, and he never regretted the choice he had made. So today, I'll be speaking to you about the advantage of true happiness. True happiness and fulfillment cannot be bought with money or material possessions. It comes from within, and it is often found in the simplest of things, like spending time with loved ones, enjoying nature, and doing things that bring us joy. Chike's experience taught him that the true treasures in life are not material things, but the experiences and connections that we make with others. We should always choose experiences and connections over material possessions because they are the things that truly bring us happiness. Even in the book of Matthew 6:19-21, Jesus said, "Do not store up for yourselves treasure in the sky or on earth, where moth and vermin destroy, and where thieves break in and steal. But store up for yourselves treasure in heaven, where vermin and moth do not destroy, and where thieves cannot or do not break in and steal. For where your treasure is, there your heart will also be." This passage reminds us that our true treasure and happiness lies in our relationship with God and in the kingdom of heaven, not in material things. To further expand on these morals, it's important to bring note that material possession can only bring temporary happiness. In Chike's case, he initially felt happy and satisfied with his wealth, but it didn't last long. He soon realized that his wealth wasn't bringing him true happiness or fulfillment, so he needed to find a deeper source of joy, and he found it in the simple things that thoroughly matters in life. This is a lesson that we all can learn from. No matter what our circumstances are, material things come and go, but true happiness comes from within. So guys, this is the ending of my story. Thank you so much for reading this story. Stay tuned to my channel for more adventures and inspiring stories like this. See you guys on my next story. Please guys, if this is your first time here, make sure you like this video, drop a comment under this video, share this story so many people can watch it and enjoy it as well. And please guys, subscribe to my channel for more. This will help us to surely grow. Thank you so much for watching once more. I'll see you guys on my next story. Bye guys.